so we can rise up, move. We've got the victory, burdens loose. These three things, higher, higher we go. Don't stop, we're too close. Free your mind, let's go. These three things.
Hey, everybody. What's up? This is your girl, Sharrona Reaves, and you are listening to These Three Things podcast. Thank y'all for joining me for another episode of TTT. My guest today, Cameo BoBo, is a super dynamic sister that I cannot wait for you guys to hear from. I had the privilege of attending her single release called Crown over this past weekend. And man, we had a time. We were all commissioned to wear crowns to the event, and it was a moment. Cameo performed her song Crown at the event Saturday evening, and you guys can find that song under her name, Cameo BoBo, titled Crown, on all listening platforms. Check it out. It's a great song. She calls it her twerk encouragement anthem, I think is what she called it, or like a motivational twerk song is what it is. Which it is exactly that. So if you ever just need some good motivation and you want to get your twerk on, or you working out, it's a bop. It is a bop, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I just love being in Cameo's presence, and her event this weekend was just a spirit of love. The atmosphere was just love. So just wanted to give her a shout out for that before we get into her episode. I want to take a quick moment and address our last episode on being liked versus being talented. And man, oh man, woo, y'all had some stuff to say. Y'all told me that you don't like Monique cussing, but you cussed the whole episode. I was telling a story, people. Like, y'all, if I tell a story, y'all feel away. For those of you who are tuning in because you follow Cameo BoBo and this is your first time listening to These Three Things podcast, I told you my name is Sharrona Reaves. I was a college women's basketball coach for 20 plus years. And I tell a story of how I had a situation with a former player that did not turn out so well. And so there were a couple of cuss words in it that my listeners got onto me about, but I was really just telling the story. Definitely go tune into that episode. The episode was based off of Amanda Seals, who is an entertainer. She's a comedian. She was a former recording artist. Amanda does a lot of things. She does political commentary. She talks about relationships. She talks about a lot of different things. She had expressed that she was kind of hurt that she wasn't being invited to all of the like black events that happen in Hollywood. And although she's not being invited, she is definitely always fighting for the black community. And so that ensued a whole lot of op-eds, articles, opinions, thoughts about Amanda from her saying that. And so I was giving my 2 cents on it and just talking about the difference in being liked versus being talented and how both are needed in the black community. We need us to be liked, but we also need some people that are talented and out here shaking tables and maybe not the most liked people, but are necessary in the growth and the development of the black community. So that was my last episode. And yeah, you guys gave me a hard time about it. Some of you are not Amanda fans, and that's okay. Like, I am speaking just from how I feel about things. It's obviously my perspective, and I get that. And some of you are diehard Amanda fans, and I appreciate your input and your feedback as well, because you do understand that we both are needed in the community. Everybody is not going to be polished and put together and acceptable and digestible by the masses. Some of us just have to go the hard way because that's just the way we're wired. That is the way we were created. And because our purposes are different. So yeah, I appreciate both feedbacks. I appreciate what everybody had to say. So again, thank you guys for listening to the episode of These Three Things podcast. I definitely want to get into today's episode as soon as possible because it is a longer episode because Cameo just got so much going on, y'all. Like, we talked about it all. And I think you guys will be intrigued with this sister. I hope that you will follow her. I hope that you will listen to her new single out right now called Crown. And follow her on all of her socials, order her book and all the things that she's got going on because she is a real deal and becoming a friend of mine that I look forward to being around. Just great spirit. So, without further ado, let me introduce to you guys the goal coach, Cameo BoBo, on These Three Things podcast. Enjoy. For almost a century, Scarrett Bennett Center's historic Gothic campus has been a choice location for dream weddings in Nashville. Consistently rated one of Music City's best places to get married by The Knot, Wedding Wire, and Toast of Nashville, Scarrett Bennett Center offers 3 timeless venues for your wedding: a 20-person elopement chapel, a 300-person wedding chapel, and a breathtaking garden. From rehearsal to reception, Scarrett Bennett Center is ready to help you create the intimate, historic wedding of your dreams. Visit our website at scarrettbennett.org/weddings for more information. Visit our website at scarrettbennett.org/weddings for more information. Hey, everybody. This is Sharrona Reaves, and you are listening to These Three Things podcast. And my guest today is Cameo BoBo. And you guys, y'all know I am always excited to talk to everybody, but this Tennessee sister right here, I am super excited to talk to you guys about her. Cameo is a TV host. She hosts her own television show, you guys, the Cameo BoBo Show. She is a music artist. She is a goal coach, an author, and she also runs events. So, ladies and gentlemen, all of my listeners, please welcome Cameo BoBo to These Three Things.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for having me, Sharrona. I'm so excited that you are here, that I'm here, and I'm just ready for this interview. I'm excited. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the show. I always like to tell my guests how I know the people that I record with.
Okay.
Because sometimes I actually do know them, and sometimes I've met them through someone else. So is it okay if I give the person who told me about you their name?
Please, give them a shout out.
Okay, we got to give you a shout out, McCoy, because
Yes.
a gentleman came into my DMs on Facebook in Messenger, and he was like, hey, I listen to your show from time to time, and I always love when I hear the guys listen to the show, because I'm like, they learn a lot about us women.
That's cool.
Listening to the show. He was like, I got a homegirl. She's in Nashville. She got a TV show.
I love it.
She done wrote a book.
He is my biggest supporter.
He was just telling me all this stuff. And I said, okay. And I said, where is she from? He said, she's from Tennessee. I said, okay, let me look her up. And I said, okay, so I think we followed each other, ended up following each other on Facebook.
We did.
And then just got connected. And you was like, yeah, I'd love to be on your show.
Whoop,
So
whoop. And I'm here.
I am so impressed by everything that you are doing, Cameo.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank you
really,
so much.
I've looked at everything that you have going on your YouTube channel. I've seen some things, and I'm just like, you got it going on, girl.
Thank you.
You
Thank
really
you.
do.
Thank
So I
you.
cannot wait to like get off into this conversation and talk about, just for my listeners, like all that you do. So I've given a background of everything that you have going on. So can you just tell my listeners a little bit just about you, where you're from? I said you're from Tennessee, but just more detail.
Hey everybody. My name really is Cameo BoBo. My father named me Cameo, and his last name is Bobo. So there you go. I am from Tennessee, originally from West Tennessee, a small town called Jackson, Tennessee. And Trap came up to Middle Tennessee to go to MTSU. So that's how I got to the Middle Tennessee area. I am a multifaceted, multi-passionate woman who loves going after her goals and inspiring other people to go and do the same. I started off in fashion. I have a deep passion for fashion. I have a degree from MTSU for fashion merchandising. And I started off with a fashion design company, and then I morphed into doing fashion shows. And then from there, I started doing mentoring of girls. And then from there, I started doing music. And from there, I started doing go coaching. And then from there, I started doing a TV show. So it's been a journey to get there. But I'm just a testament of what happens when you make a definite decision that you're going to live your best life and trust God with the timing of that happening in your life.
Ooh, that's a mouthful. That trust God with the timing part
Yes,
is the part that we all have to work on.
Yes.
Because we like want it and we want it now.
Exactly.
And then as we get older, we understand why God didn't give it to us then.
Exactly.
So that's so good. That's so good. Okay. So you wear a lot of hats,
Yes, I do.
clearly, that you just shared. So I want to share with my listeners every one of those hats.
Okay, thank you.
So let's start with music.
Okay.
Talk to me about music. Like,
All
how
right.
did music become
Yes.
like a love for you?
Okay, so I've always loved music. I grew up in a household where my father was always blasting music from the living room, and my mother always was in the kitchen singing along. So we were always music lovers. My mother's from Detroit, Michigan, so she grew up going to the Motown events downtown at the Fox Theater. So she saw all of the Motown artists all the time, and that's how she actually met my father. So music has always been a passion of mine. At growing up, I fell in love with hip hop. You know, I would run home from school, watch Rap City and all the TV shows, and so I really never thought I would have a musical career. My best friend, her name is Dawn, she was a rapper. And so later on in life, I came up with this idea. My favorite scripture is Psalms 139:14. It says, I praise you for I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full and well. One day I was riding in my car, and I started saying, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. And I was like, ooh, I think that's a hook. I think that's a song.
Yeah.
So I went and told my best friend who was a rapper, and she was like, I said, Dawn, you going to do this song with me? And she was like, okay. So long story short, a friend of mine ended up buying a beat, helping me buy a beat, helping me book studio time. And so I was like, okay, how are we going to get this going? And so I said, okay, Dawn, are you going to write the rap song? I'll write the hook. You write the lyrics. She's like, no, you got to write your own lyrics. I'm like, oh, Lord. So God helped me write my first song. We did Farm together, and it's all. If you guys want to check it out, it's called Farm Cameo featuring Lady. It's on YouTube and all streaming platforms for music.
Okay.
But you can listen to the song, and it did really well. We made some numbers with it. We did a music video. After that, my friend, she decided that she wanted to do something different with her life, and so I was kind of still had that music bug. And in 2020, God started telling me, he was like, Cameo, I want you to be a solo artist. And I was like, okay, you're going to have to help me with these songs, okay? And so that was a time when I was really, really going through a tough time financially. It was one of my most toughest financial parts of my life. And I remember I was riding in my car, and I felt like I was drowning. And I started saying, 2020 is my year. And I started encouraging myself out of that. And so I decided that might be a song, and I put the song out there. And I got some people that didn't really like the song because of the year that was going through, but it's really what helped me get through.
Right.
And that song did numbers, and I've started this It's My Year series. So we did 2020, 21, 22, 23. I have not done a 2024. I think we're going to go in a different direction.
Okay.
But that's kind of how my music career started.
Well, talking about the 2020 was not a bad year for everybody. I mean, although we were going through a pandemic at the time, it still was a great year for a lot of people starting their own businesses and really having time to sit back and think about what life meant to them and the rat race of corporate America.
So
and a lot of people like really changed the whole trajectory and direction of their life in 2020. So even though we were going through a global pandemic, I do believe that God was speaking to a lot of his people and redirecting during that time as well. So
He really was.
Okay, so what type of music? Are you a rapper?
I am a rapper.
Okay.
I'm a rapper. So it's all rap music, girls. Now,
that.
I would love to someday record some songs because I want to keep working on my voice. I do have somewhat of a voice, but I'm not there yet. But I would love to do some R&B too.
Okay.
Yeah, but I call it motivational music. It's music that helps you, go after your goals, or either go after the things you really want in life. I have a song called Games where I talk about relationships. As a single woman dating, that's a whole nother thing, and everybody's playing games. So I have a song where I talk about games, just encouraging people to be honest with their intentions up front and not play games with a person, and give them the honor of making a decision on whether they want to move forward or not. You never know until you ask, and tricking someone into something is not the way to go.
No.
Yeah.
Let's get back.
I know it's a whole nother thing we could talk about right there.
Yes. We're going to get back to the whole relationship and single and dating in this time and space in life. We're going to get to that. Because I really want your thoughts on a few things. Okay, so influences. Like, who are your musical, like if you were to say with this singing thing, if I, decide I want to take it to another level and really put my focus into that, who would be your influences? Like people that you'd say, okay, I'd like to kind of run with the things that they've done and see myself in that way.
Beyonce's an icon. I wouldn't want to be like her, but I really like how she has moved herself up to a platform where she's her own self promotion. She doesn't have to do all the marketing. She doesn't have to do all the media and the. I would love to build up my following to the point where I can do what I want to do freely, and everyone comes behind and support. Like that's the vision that I have.
I got to see the Renaissance tour twice.
You did?
I saw it here in Nashville,
Wow.
and then the weekend that I moved my daughter to LA, I didn't even know that she was in LA that weekend, and it happened to be her birthday weekend.
Yeah, so you got to see Diana Ross and all that?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw that whole experience, and I was
love
like
it.
online, and I told my daughter, I was like, I think I'm gonna go see Beyonce. She was like, yeah. She said, I'm not going because I'm going to see Travis Scott in a few weeks.
yeah.
I said, and I looked at the tickets, and I was like, do I want to do this? And I'm like, but how often are you going to be in LA on Beyonce's birthday and she's on a world tour?
Yeah.
I'm like, you just got to go.
You
like,
do.
I ain't going to live
Yeah,
forever.
right.
You know?
You did the right thing. You did the right thing. I got to see her when she came to Nashville another time, and it's the only concert I've been to that I cried.
Yeah.
She was really amazing, and she really gives you an experience, and that's what I like about Beyonce.
A lot of people have, if you've never been to a Beyonce concert, let me just tell you, we will be exhausted before Beyonce will.
Okay. She gives it all.
All of it.
All.
Big love to you, Beyonce.
Shout out to B.
I know you probably not running across these three things podcast.
She might. You never know now where you going, girl, with this.
You're
Okay.
right. You're right. You may never know, but just kudos because we got a lot of respect for you out here in these streets, girl. Okay, so let's transition
Okay.
from music because I love music too, and we could talk about music. A lot to say, but let's go to Goal Coach because I found this to be like very, in this day and age, necessary.
It is.
It is so like helping people obtain goals, helping people identify goals, helping people reach goals. There's so many people out here that have thoughts and ideas but have no roadmap on how to reach a goal. So tell me, because I may be explaining it wrong, but what does a goal coach do actually?
Okay, so a goal coach is someone who helps you figure out what you want in life and how to get what you want in life. So I specialize in helping people release their inner greatness. I first feel like everybody has greatness inside of them. I feel like life is set up to discourage us to release that inner greatness, but I really believe we each have greatness inside of us. I believe the first thing you should do is accept that greatness, that you are great and you have greatness inside of you. And then once you accept that, your goals will start being revealed to you. Desires, wants, ideas, feelings, movements. And those things, if you turn those into goals, then you can create an action plan to achieve those things. So I specialize in really helping female entrepreneurs set big goals and get results every 90 days with a formula that I created called my Best Life Formula.
Yeah. So getting people to accept their greatness.
Yeah.
Do you find that a lot of us don't know how to accept our greatness?
Yes.
Talk about that. Like what is hindering us from just owning it?
Oh my goodness, so many things. It could be childhood traumas. It could be the way you see yourself. It could be comparison.
Yeah.
It could be you being scared of accepting who you really are, because a lot of us know that we have gifts and talents, but we're nervous of letting them out because we think we might be criticized, or we think we might, or some people are scared of being accepted. And what comes along with that. But what I tell people, no matter what your fear is, you should be more scared of what life will be if you don't release it. That is what you really should be afraid of. Because God put that there for a reason. And, I believe in heaven. I believe we'll get somewhere one day. And I believe one day he'll say, hey, what you do with those gifts I gave you? Were you the one in the Bible that, dug a ditch and put them in the ground and put them in the hole? And he doesn't want that.
Yeah.
I really believe that he's giving you certain gifts and me certain gifts so we can see different sides of him, and we can understand that he is not this big, mean God looking down on us and judging us, but he's a God that loves us and accepts us fully, and I think that when we're free enough to release our inner greatness and show all of our different sides of ourselves, that we really become just a force in this earth, a beacon of light, that we really can draw people in and help people and uplift people. Because I really feel like there's more people depressed and hopeless than we really realize. People that we're around every day go home and really don't feel like anybody loves them or just, has any desire for them. And I want to be someone that is positioned and use my platform to like really build people up and let them know how to win. You know, you can win. You don't need any prerequisites. You just need to realize that you're great, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, yeah. And when you do you encounter very many people as a goal coach who don't know what they don't have any direction. Like I don't know. I don't know myself. I don't know what I love and what I don't. Like where do you start with that person?
So with that person, I would find out their background. I would find out, you know, I would let them describe their life to me, who they think they are, why they haven't gone after certain things. You know, describe to me your support system. Do you have a support system? You know, what have your relationships been like? And then I would go from there, because a lot of what stops us are our thoughts. You know, it's all mindset. So once I find all of that out, I usually can understand the person a little bit better and help them understand that some of the wrong thinking that they have, that if we just shift that thinking around, then it will open a door for goals and ideas to begin to take birth.
Yeah, your creativity to come through.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so last question on Goal Coach, because I
Okay.
love this. See, everything about you is a podcast episode, because we can do a whole podcast episode on goal coaching
Yes, we
right
can.
now. You know,
Yes.
just really talking about
Yes.
that and really blessing people with that information and knowing how to get in touch with you. Like, do you do this like by Zoom for people who?
So I do this in two ways. I have a book called The Best Life Formula: How to Set Goals, Release Your Inner Greatness, and Live Your Best Life.
Okay.
It's available on Amazon. Just type in Cameo BoBo. I'm working on my audiobook. It should be out soon. Hopefully in March it's going to be released. You also can join my membership. I have a membership for women called Best Life Babes.
Okay.
And it's full of female entrepreneurs who are love unity, building a community, who are leaders of their families, who may not always feel supported in their personal lives, but they're the leader and they're the person that everybody calls and goes to when they need help, that they have businesses and they need a community. They're fashionable, they're sociable, and they love on each other. And we meet twice a month. So that's kind of how I move through it. I also am open to one-on-ones. You just have to schedule a call with me, but you can go to cameobobo.com to schedule that. But what I want to share real quick is why I became a goal coach.
Yes, I was getting ready to ask you
Okay,
that.
perfect.
That was going to be the question.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect.
So let's go story time.
Okay.
About 6 or 7 years ago, I was in a relationship with my high school sweetheart. We were in love. I thought we were going to get married. We were going to marriage counseling. All these things were going on. I found out he was cheating on me, and we broke up. After that, I met a gentleman, and he came highly recommended by all of my friends. They went to school with him. They said he was a great guy. He was a community leader. I was with him for 9 months, found out that he was a narcissist. It was one of the most worst relationships I've ever been in. Very emotionally abusive and almost physical abusive had I not left. So after that, I said, you know what, Cameo, if you can give these relationships this much, you're going to give yourself 100%. So I dug into giving myself 100%. Whatever trip I wanted to go on, whatever experience I wanted to have, I did that for a whole year. After that, I ended up taking a trip with two of my best friends to Miami. And I was like, you know, I'm going out of town this year for Miami because I've never been out of town for New Year's Eve. So we went to Miami, got a beautiful hotel, rented a convertible Mustang, and we was on the strip. Okay, we had a ball.
Y'all were outside.
Yeah, we were outside, honey. So the next morning, my best friend woke up. She was like, hey, let's go to the pool. And I was like, well, if you want to work on your goals with me, I'll go to the pool with you. So we went down to the pool. We were working on our goals. And she says, you know, you do this every year, Cameo. And I was like, what? She said, every year you get on a call with us and you help us set goals. You pray with us and you ask us what are our goals. And I was like, I hadn't realized that, you know. So when we got back to Nashville, she asked me to come and do a goal-setting workshop for her board. And I said, okay, I'll do it. After that workshop, I realized that it was something that I was really passionate about, but I hadn't been consistent with my goal-setting. So I sat down and I wrote down a formula that I felt like I used when I was being really consistent. Because I've always been a goal setter. I've always been ambitious and always wanted to, you know, achieve things in life. But there's been ups and downs of that. So with my Best Life formula, I've created a process where I can achieve goals every 90 days and figure out what I'm working on at each time of the year. And that is why how I got started with everything.
That is so good, because I was going to ask you, like, how did you identify that this was the thing that you could do and be successful and help other people with it.
Yeah.
That's such a good story.
Thank you.
Let's see, it's more girlfriends out there that need to be like you. That's
Thank
like
you.
checking in on their girlfriends about real stuff.
Yeah.
Like, how are we gonna get to the next level in life?
Right.
How are we gonna start these businesses?
Yes.
How are we gonna, you know, make sure we got enough
Yes.
money when retirement comes and our
Okay.
money right?
Period.
You know, a lot of times when we're younger, we just sit around with our girlfriends talking about men. And this man
We
this
do.
and this man
We
that.
do.
And so much time is passing on things that, regardless of whether you have a man or not, these things
Yeah.
in your life still need to be paid attention to. So
They do.
I'm going to have to have you back on the show because I
Okay.
told you everything you talk about is a podcast episode, and I want to
love
keep
it.
going further. And you mentioned this.
Okay.
So let's run it back to it. You talked about being an author. Tell everybody again the name of your book.
The name of my book is The Best Life Formula: How to Release Your Inner Greatness, Set Goals, and Live Your Best Life.
And what can we expect if we're reading that book? What can we expect to get from that?
It
book?
is a blueprint on how to set goals and release your inner greatness and live your best life. I have created a 6-step formula to help you get clear about what you want, why you want it, and how to get it. It comes with some of my personal stories. It comes with a blueprint of how to help you write out your goals. It also comes with advice on how to overcome the things that will stop you from achieving your goals. And also I have this rule called the IFCT rule, where you use imagination, feeling, confession, and talking in order to really help you achieve your goals. So the book is only about 80 pages long, but I kept it short because I really wanted it to be something that someone could read quickly and get started.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times you find these books and they're 300, 500 pages, and you're just not really even confident enough to go that far with it.
Right.
You know, so I want to
Right.
hit them quick, you know, give them the information,
Smart.
and then they can always build upon it, because I really believe that, you know, life is a journey. You know, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And so we have pit stops. And so at each pit stop, you pick up a piece of knowledge. And my book, I believe, will be a piece of knowledge that will help people really, really live their best lives and take their dreams to new levels.
Wow. So what you just said about making the book small and keeping it where it's a simple and a quick read is so important, because sometimes you just need to like have a book that is helping you navigate whatever thing that it is that you're trying to go to. And we're talking about goal setting, that I can just go pick back up and look at something and read and be like, okay, yeah, this is where I'm messing up at. This is where I need to get back on track at. And not, like you said, have something 300 to 500 pages where I'm like, look,
Exactly.
I'm already overwhelmed.
Right. I'm going to read this later. Keep falling asleep at night. You know, I wanted some. And then it also comes with a workbook. So not only do you go through the goal book, you also go through the goal book with the workbook. And it's a calendar. And I really believe in carrying your goals around with you. So you write all your goals out, you add them to your calendar, and you keep up with it throughout the year. So that's another part of the process that I really think help people.
So you can check yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
You got to hold your own self accountable.
Okay, so tell everybody again, I think you said it in the Goal Coach setting,
Okay.
but tell everybody again, how can we purchase your book?
Yes.
And the workbook.
Okay, perfect. Go to Amazon, just type in, search Cameo BoBo under authors. The name of the book is The Best Life Formula: How to Release Your Inner Greatness, Give Your Goals 100%, and Live Your Best Life. If you have trouble finding it on Amazon, feel free to go to my website, cameobobo.com, and click that my book link.
Okay, so you know what I love about you, Cameo?
What?
I can tell that you do a TV show and you used to talking, because we be knowing what's next and what we got to say next. I love it. I'm like, she got it. She got it over here.
Thank you.
Last thing about the book. How hard was it to write the book? Did you find writing a book like daunting, or did it come quick for you?
So parts of it came quick. Parts of it came slowly. So, you know, since I'm a Go Coach, I had this whole process of how I was going to write the book.
Yeah.
If anybody's going to write the book, this is what I would say first. Write a outline of what you want this book to be about, and then tackle it from that point of view.
Yeah.
So I wrote out my outline, but my book is based upon my goal setting formula. So I had the substance of the book,
Right.
but I wanted it to be something engaging where people could read along and find out things about me. So including the stories was more of what I needed to do. So
Right.
once I got like a good first draft, I hired a copywriter because I wanted my book to be professional. I wanted it to sound like a book.
Right.
So I hired a professional copywriter to help me make sure that my book sounded like a book. It was set up in an appropriate way, and that it would translate to readers in a way that would make them feel like they were reading something that was really from an expert, which I am.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm actually gonna get me a copy.
Okay, I
And
should
get
have
one
brought
for
you
my
one.
daughter and
Okay.
my son. Too.
Okay, you whoop.
For the 3 copies.
I love it.
Okay, let's get to the show.
Okay.
The Cameo
Whoop, whoop,
BoBo
whoop,
Show.
whoop, 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 whoop.
Cameo BoBo Show.
Yes.
The Cameo BoBo Show. Okay, so you are a goal coach.
Yes.
You are the author of a book.
Yes.
You can do music.
Yes.
You run events in the city if you
Yes.
need to. You are a single mom raising a son, correct?
Yes, correct.
And you got a show?
Yes.
Before we get into the meat and bones of the show,
Okay.
how did the show come about?
Okay. So, long story short, in 2021, I started feeling like I had something to say. I started feeling like I needed to release some things. And so started getting on Facebook Live and sharing some of my personal story. And people seemed really engaged by it. And, it really motivated and inspired people. So I said, ooh, I think I'm going to start a television show called, first show I started was called Wish My Life Was Perfect as My Outfit. And yeah.
I love that name.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. And I interviewed women who I felt like had created a life that was perfect as their outfit. Sometimes we go through life and we're all messed up on the inside, but girl, we looking good on the outside.
Fly
Okay.
to
We're
death.
ready. Okay.
Fly to death.
And so I just wanted to interview some women that I feel like have figured it out. They're not perfect, but they figured out how to love themselves and continue to evolve and grow. And so I started doing that, and I did about 6 shows, and that was just with my cell phone camera just in one of my friends' venues. So, time went on, and one of my friends asked me to come and be a co-host on her television show. I went to do that, and it was a it was a studio and cameras. It was just amazing. And I was like, ooh, I wonder how she got this. I wonder how she was able to have this opportunity. And I was scared to ask her. So I went about 6 months, and I was scared to ask her for the information. And finally, God said, Cameo, are you supposed to do anything in fear? And I said, no. So I picked up that phone and called Sarah Grace, and she gave me the tea. She told me how to do everything.
Wow.
So I signed up for the classes to get my own television show. Now, I still was going to do Wish My Life Is Perfect as my outfit, which was comparable to like a midday talk show, I would say. So I had to take classes to become a television producer in order to have my show inside of this television studio.
Okay.
During the classes, we had to go through make up a mock television show, myself and my classmates. We decided to do a late night television show. And so they asked me to be the host of it. And so I loved it. I was like, ooh, I'm loving this late night thing. Okay. It was me.
Yeah.
So I went home, prayed about it, and I was like, okay, God, I feel like it's a late night TV show. And he was like, yeah, call it the Cameo BoBo Show live in Music City. And that is how it all got started. Okay.
Wow. Okay, so I do understand the trepidation of not asking. Her name is Sarah.
Yeah.
Initially about how she got it. Because some people are gatekeepers.
They are. And you don't want to be like the person that's trying to copycat. You never know
Correct.
how people,
You don't know how people are going to go.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think that probably when the Lord spoke to you about the moving in fear, it needed a little bit of time needed to pass probably.
Yeah, for me to really
to go to her and ask her that. Because sometimes people are like, oh, I don't need you copying me. I don't want you to come. I don't need you to be my competition.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we feel like there can only be one of us. Is Sarah white or black, if you don't mind me asking?
She's white.
She's white. Okay. Sometimes we feel like it can only be one of us. And so we want to gatekeep to keep other people from being our competition.
Yeah.
Instead of, the word says iron sharpens iron. Sometimes you need that competition around you to find out, what's really in you.
Yes.
So I think that's so awesome. So you
Thank
asked
you.
her. So when you walked on the set and you saw it all, you were like,
I was like, what is this? How did she get this? Like, this is so cool,
Yeah.
And so, where I hold my television show tapings is NECAT Studios in Nashville, Tennessee. It's on the campus of Nashville State.
Okay.
But they have their own studio. And so, it is a real studio. I have a real studio audience. I have a real set. This is real lights, camera, actions. We have headsets. I have a crew of 12 people that help me pull this off. It is a real deal show.
It's a production.
It is a production.
You are so do you produce your own show?
I produce my own show.
See, add that to the resume.
Yeah, I know. Executive producer of my own show.
Because those things matter. That basically is saying that I know how to run a show. I know what it takes to run a show. A lot of people don't really understand when they see producer. Like, okay, what does a producer really do? That means what you see from start to finish. Me and maybe someone else, if I'm executive producing, we put this together.
Yes.
From the script that we talk about to the guests that we have to the lighting to everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
I love production. I do. I'm a big production fan.
All right. You have to come to the show whenever you have time.
Oh, already.
Okay.
I can't wait.
Awesome.
I cannot wait till you get started.
Awesome.
I was going to say at the end, I'm expecting an invite.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us more about your show.
Okay, so when you think of Arsenio Hall and you think of the Tonight Show, then you think of the Cameo BoBo Show. So it is a similar late night television show format. We are spicing up the nighttime though. When you cut on your television show, your televisions at night, you do not see a beautiful African American woman entertaining, giving motivating interviews, inspiring you, motivating you, having a good time, musical performances, small business interviews. We do a segment called You Hungry, where we feature a local food business and we do a taste test. We have trivia. We have so much fun on the show. So it's a variety show.
I love that.
From a motivational and inspiring point of view.
Yeah. So how do you curate your guests? Like, how do you go into each season with an idea of, okay, these are the people that I want to talk to?
Yeah.
Do you have people reaching out to you saying, hey, Cameo, I want to be on your show?
Okay, so we have two different ways you can be on the show.
Okay.
So first of is an invite, and that's always a accredited guest. So someone with a name, a public figure, celebrity, or someone of high profile.
Right.
So I have those slots, and I have the list of those people. Then I also have paid spots. So you can come onto my show and you can talk about your business, you can talk about your book, you can perform your music, or different things of that sort. And I have those spots. And then I also have the You Hungry segment. And then I have comedians. So that's kind of how the show runs.
Nice. Do you have a favorite guest? Tell me a couple of people that you've had on the show that you absolutely love.
Okay, one of my good friends, Bobby Jones, he was so much fun to interview.
Bobby Jones,
longest running cable television TV show. He is the ambassador. Okay.
What? Since we were babies?
Yes. He was hilarious. He was a lot of fun and showed a lot of love. Jewel Tanker came on the show from the reality show, The Tanker, Thicker Than Water, Bravo Network. She is a wealth expert, and she gave us so many gems about how to get those coins. Okay,
isn't she beautiful
and gorgeous?
And yes, just
gorgeous,
stunningly gorgeous.
She
and just
is.
Like, talk about dress.
Yes.
Yeah.
To the nines. Okay.
Yeah.
I had to bring my millionaire look for her. Okay.
Okay.
But that was fun. We also had Tulai Bree, who is a rapper here in Nashville. He's a well-known rapper around, but we had him on the show, and also Shalom Miller. He's a music producer for Missy and Beyonce.
Okay.
We had a really good fun trivia with them. That was really fun. We had Dola White from 101 on the radio station.
Nice.
We just had 92Q on the radio on the show. That show will be coming out soon. That was fun. So we've had a lot of great people and a lot of great fun people on the show. So
you have a new season coming up.
We do. We were currently in season 2, so if you're listening to this, you can go to cameobobo.com to find all the information about the show. We air on Channel 19 locally in the Nashville area, Tuesdays at midnight and Thursdays at 5 p.m. We also air on YouTube bi-weekly at 8:30 p.m. Central, and we also air on the Smooth Life TV network owned by Ben Tanker. But we are currently airing season 2, and we'll start recording season 3 on March 23rd. So we're really excited about that.
So recordings are coming up.
Yes, and they are free, guys. It is free to come to a Cameo BoBo Show recording.
Give the address to where they need to come again, Cameo.
So you need to go to CameoBoBoShow.com. It is located at on White Bridge Road at Nashville State Campus at NECAT Studios. But if you go to CameoBoBoShow.com, everything you need to be in that building will be on that website.
Perfect. We both know to accomplish some of the things that you are accomplishing and have accomplished, and being a single parent, raising a son, And you said your son is active in sports, isn't he?
He is.
What sport does he play?
He plays basketball.
Word.
Yes,
Word.
yes. You would love him. I'm just have to see some of his stuff.
Please do. I will come and watch him play.
Okay,
Because,
okay.
my kids are grown now, so I don't
Yeah.
get to go to no
My
games.
Now my son is grown.
Okay.
He's 21 years old.
But he's still playing.
Yes, he's
okay,
still
so it's
playing.
a game for me to go to.
Yeah. Okay, it's a game. Yeah.
It's a game. Let's talk about Cameo the woman.
Okay.
How do you keep yourself motivated with everything that you have on your plate? Because we all know every day ain't a good day. What do you do?
So what happened? So I'll say this. Let me tell you a bit about my son's birth.
Yes.
So I found out that I was pregnant with my son my senior year of college. As I mentioned earlier, I majored in fashion merchandising, and my plan was to move to New York to pursue a career in fashion. His father and I had broken up maybe 3 or 4 weeks prior to me finding I was pregnant, and we had been in this rocky relationship on and off, and we finally had said, okay, we're done, we're not going back, and I was like, okay, cool, moving on. Senior year, he's graduating, I'm graduating, we're gonna be good. But I found out I was pregnant, and I was so scared. I didn't know what to do. I talked to him about it, and he said, I'm going to be a father. I'm going to be there. I will support you. But I still was really scared because I grew up in a home with a mother and a father. So I really had no perspective of how to be a single mom, or just didn't have a desire to be a mom at that point in time. I just had other ideas, So I was going to give up. I was going to abort my son. And so I called the clinic, and I was trying to make the appointment, and every time she asked me for a date, I couldn't speak. And so I told the lady, I said, I'm going to have to call you back. So I got down on my knees, and I prayed, and I said, God, I don't know what to do. You're going to have to tell me what to do. And he said, Cameo, if you decide to have this baby, I promise you that you or the baby will not want for anything. And I got up off my knees, and I said, okay, I'm going to give it a try. And God has kept his promise this whole time. Now, it has not been easy. I remember I was graduating. I graduated pregnant. I think I graduated May 13th. On May 23rd, my son was born. On May 13th, his father graduated with me, and he was at the hospital on May 23rd. And that day, he got a great job offer to work at Nissan. And he was going to live his dreams and be an engineer and do all that. And I was moving back to Jackson, Tennessee with my parents. And it was really a heartbreaking situation for me because I felt it was unfair. I was like, he gets to do everything, and I got to go home and learn how to be a mom. Now, I chose to do that because I knew I didn't know how to be a mom. But it was a really hard time. And there was a moment where, I told my mother, and I was like, Mama, I feel like everybody's moving on without me. I don't know what to do. And she said, Cam, you need to create a plan. She said, all of your dreams will come true. Everything you want will happen, but it won't be easy, and you'll need a plan. And I just... Okay. She said it won't be easy, but you'll need a plan. And so I created a plan, and I also heard this personality on the radio at that time, and they, how you end the radio show with a moment of encouragement or a word of encouragement. And she ended the radio show, and she said this: true success is fulfilling God's will in God's time. And that sunk so hard in my heart because I felt like I was just lost, and I've held on to that quote, and that has helped me through my single mother journey.
Something that always sticks out to me when I see women who are successful and fearless and know how to continue to fight through life's adversities.
Yeah.
They always have a mom that is always speaking into them. They do. They have a mom who is, I'm sure it wasn't your mom or dad's ideal for you to be pregnant and a senior in college either.
No.
But they moved past it enough to encourage you to be hey, you got to get yourself a game plan, baby girl. Life ain't over for you. You ain't the first woman going to have a baby and be raising it. And it's still a lot of life for you to live. Instead of the opposite of, you done got yourself pregnant and
Yeah.
he gone on with his life.
Yeah.
And,
Making me
look
feel
at you.
worse. Yeah.
Because where is the growth mindset in that for you?
Yeah.
Because you're saying some of that to yourself already. Like, look at him,
Exactly.
Cameo.
Exactly.
He over there with a good job.
Right. Okay. Get an apartment, man.
Yes. And so for women who are listening to this, the value of having a mother who is supportive, despite your faults and flaws, is so important for a daughter to have. It is so important because daughters gonna make mistakes. People gonna make mistakes.
Yes.
But a lot of times your parents are your roadmap on how you see yourself, on how you believe in yourself, on just the courage to move out here in this world when the people who love you the most, the people who brought you into the world are telling you, girl, you can do this.
Yeah.
You're going to be all right. Because you're thinking, if they think that about me.
Yes, it helped me.
I don't have no choice but to get myself together right here.
Yeah.
So kudos to your mama. What's your mama name?
Thank you. Dolores Bobo.
Dolores Bobo.
Yes.
We're giving you your flowers
Yes,
today.
ma'am. I have
Miss
to tell
Dolores.
her. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about fear.
Woo, woo.
With all that you got going on.
Yes.
Okay. How often, Cameo, are you feeling fear and pressing right through it?
All the time.
And what does that look like for you? Like, what are you
Yeah.
saying to yourself mentally when you're like, oh my God, I got to do this and this?
Yeah.
Like, what are you saying to yourself?
I'll say, so if I was nervous coming here, I would say, Cameo, you're going to say exactly what needs to be said. God is going to work through you. You're going to get your point across. If you forget something, the Holy Spirit is going to remind you. You are going to be all right. I've learned that fear is a mindset. And fear can only creep in when I'm trying to do something in myself. When I was scared to ask Sarah Grace, it was because I was thinking about myself.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about the calling of God on my life. I wasn't thinking about what he was going to use me for or what he was going to do with the idea of the television show.
Yeah.
I was only thinking about how she was going to look at me. But when I finally got over that fear, then I got the information and I was able to grow and become a new level of Cameo.
Yeah.
And anybody that's dealing with fear, it's to keep you tied down. It's to keep you stagnant. It's to keep you feeling stuck. And if you stay in fear, which is a mindset of I can't do it, I don't know what to do, things aren't going to work out, I'm going to sound stupid, I'm going to look stupid, people are going to I don't know what the thoughts are, but they're fear-based thoughts.
Yeah.
And if you just begin to say no, if you just say the opposite of it, sometimes I tell people, okay, if you're thinking like that, speak right. Speak, I am confident enough. I am pretty enough.
Speak the opposite of it.
Speak the opposite of it and start, and it'll eventually become your new mindset, but you have to start. You have to start.
Yeah. So I hear you talk about your spirituality. I hear you talk about God and the Holy Spirit. And definitely for us as Black women, I do feel like that our spirituality has carried us a lot through a lot of things that we've gone through. Talk to me about your relationship with God. And, I'm not looking for perfection in Cameo.
Sure.
Just your personal, because I do believe our relationship with God is personal. Your personal relationship with God and how it keeps and carries you.
Oh, that's my sweetie pie God. He is my sweetie pie God. He is the sweetest person I've ever met, and sometimes I be like, I think I got a crush on you, God. I might come up there and get you.
I love
He's
that.
a good God. But I would say my journey with him, I accepted Christ into my life when I was 6 years old. But when I really began to know him, was that encounter when I prayed about having my son, and he made that promise to me, and he's kept that promise to me. Anybody that is wanting to build a relationship with God, I would say know that he wants one just as bad as you want one with him. He wants you to hear him just as bad as you want to hear him. And he is not condemning you. He doesn't look down on you. He's not looking at you like you need to be perfect or you need to change anything at this very moment to be in relationship with him. He wants you to come unto him. And when you come to him, he'll show you different things that you should work on. He'll show you different traumas. He'll ask you to let go of different things. I used to be a really heavy drinker, and God started showing me that I need to let that go because I was basically addicted to that bottle because I didn't want to deal with some of the traumas that I needed to deal with.
Yeah.
But once I let that go, he healed me from those traumas. He's helped me in so many ways, and life has not been perfect. And I've been through a whole lot of things, and I made a whole lot of mistakes, but God has never left my side.
Yeah.
And he continues to renew me and evolve me and just grow me each and every day. And it's still a walk, and I still have so much further to go. But I was reading I'm a big journaler, and I was reading in my journal, and I was reading all these things that I had wrote in my journal about. It was 2011, and I had written down all the things that God was telling me that I needed to work on and problems that I had. And I was like, golly, I was angry. I was this, I was that. I was so much stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I've come a mighty long way.
Yeah.
And so anybody that's walking with God, it doesn't matter if you think that you've left him. He hasn't left you. He is right there. He's like your shadow. He's never going anywhere, okay? He loves us deeply. So that's what I would say about relationship with him.
Yeah, that's so good. And I think that what you're sharing is so powerful because a lot of times when we're walking in life and we're going through, we tend to go inward.
Yeah.
And we don't talk to anybody about what we're going through. We don't talk to anybody about what we're
think we're the only one dealing with it.
I'm the only person in the world. And that is the space the enemy, and I'm giving air quotations, wants us to be in.
You better preach.
Because the more that I can keep you isolated with them crazy thoughts in your head,
the more I can get you.
The more I can keep you stagnant, the more I can keep you stuck, the more I can keep you in fear, the more I can keep you in doubt.
Yes.
And sometimes it's like the word says, we overcome by the word of our testimony.
Yes.
We overcome.
Yes.
It's hard to overcome when I'm just over here dealing with it in silence and I don't want to talk to nobody and I don't want to share because I'm embarrassed or I think what they going to say about me if I say this. That what they going to say has kept so many people stuck in life.
Yes.
With the worried about what I want to know who they is.
Right. Who is they that don't have their own issues?
Okay.
If they're acting like they don't have issues, they're fake. Just go find somebody else to talk to.
Correct.
They are fake. It's just no way.
And I want to share this with you because when you said it, you actually gave me chills because I had almost the exact same situation when I had my son.
Wow.
When I had my son, his dad and I were not married at the time. We hadn't known each other long enough to get married, if I'm just being honest. But we were getting ready to have a child. So I went to the abortion clinic to abort my son. And I've shared this on my show before, so I know some of my listeners are probably thinking, she went through the same thing. But for those who will be new to the show because they listen to you or they follow you, I'll share again. But very quickly, but I had gone to the abortion clinic to abort my son because at that time, I had just gotten offered a big-time coaching job. I was 27 years old when I had my first child. I had just got offered a big-time coaching job at University of California, Berkeley. And I was so excited. The job was paying me great money. I got a car. I had like a $6,000 Nike account. Like this
this was legit.
This was a dream job.
This is a dream.
It was a dream job, and I found that I was pregnant.
Yeah.
After I came back from the interview.
Wow.
And so I went to the abortion clinic to abort my son, and I didn't want to do it. I really, really didn't want to do it, but I felt like, dang, like life about to take off.
Yeah, like this is not
this is about to take off, and this is a great job, and what if I lose this opportunity? And I was sitting there and I was wrestling with myself. And I think that day I was the lowest in my spirit I had ever been in my life. And because nothing in me wanted to abort my son.
Yeah.
So I get up and they call me back to come into the room. And I'm walking in the room and I'm just like dragging and I'm just beating myself up. Like, well, why are you doing it if you don't want to do it? And I'm like, but I don't have no choice because these people are not going to want me on this job. And I'm back and forth in my head. And I walk in and the voice of the Lord just says to me, just as clear as I'm talking to you.
Wow.
Why can't you believe that I will provide for you?
Glory to God. Wow.
And I just stopped and I paused for a second and I looked at the abortion table and I looked at the doctor and I was like, yeah, I said, I'm not going to do this. And the doctor looked at me, he motioned to me, and he said, no. He said, come on, you're making the right decision. And this black lady, she was a nurse. She jumped in between, like, if I'm me, you're the doctor. This lady jumped in between me and him, and she was like, she said, and she was looking me dead in my eyes, but she was yelling at the doctor behind me.
Wow.
And she goes, she said she don't want to do it today.
God. Wow.
And she grabbed me and she said, come on, honey. She said, let's go get your stuff.
Wow.
And she walked me out of the room and she told me, she said, they're not going to give you all your money back today. She said, but they're going to give you most of your money back. She said, and I'm going to make sure of it. She said, baby girl, I've been waiting on somebody to do this all day today. And this lady ushered me out of the abortion clinic, took me to the
wow.
got me my money back. And my two girlfriends that had dropped me off at the abortion clinic, they thought, was she going to be in there for a while? So because they expected me to have an abortion. So when they came back, I'm sitting on the front steps of the abortion clinic, and I was like, they have no idea I done kept this baby. Because even they were like, you don't have to do this if you don't want to.
Wow.
Like, we'll help you raise this baby if we need to.
Oh, they so sweet.
And when they came back, I got in the car, and I was looking all sad, and they was like, are you okay? I said, girl, I did not abort my baby. I said, I'm hungry. Go get me something to eat. And they just got out of the car and was running around the car, praising God, thanking God. They were like,
wow.
So, yes, I am.
Oh, my goodness.
And let me just tell you, to what you just said about how God told you that you would never want for anything, the same.
Wow.
I don't care what we have gone through, Cameo. I don't care what we have what situation life has thrown through me making mistakes or bad decisions. God has provided for us. Yes. He has provided for us in spite of me sometimes.
Oh, my goodness.
And so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry. And usually I cry.
That was so special. Yeah. Thank you for sharing it. Yeah. I've never heard anyone have such a similar story to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, they probably do. They just won't admit it.
True. And sometimes, you know what, maybe because they didn't listen.
Yeah.
You know? But I felt like, you know what, God?
Wow.
You I ain't the only person you run into and saying, you know what, you got this. You got this. So I wanted to share that with you. So I have definitely been where you are, and I'm so grateful and thankful. I could not imagine my life without this guy.
Oh my goodness.
Been a good kid.
Yeah.
From day one.
Yeah. And I told the story because that is my inspiration. The moment I found out I was pregnant with Kyrie, my life changed, and I didn't want to abort him. I didn't want to do that. But I didn't know what else to do. Yep. And so he has been my greatest, besides God, that is my motivation. Yep. That is yes, I could do this because I wanted to give him everything, and I still do, So, yeah, he's been my source, Yeah.
And, I'm going to say this about my son, and then I'm going to get on to another subject. But, and God gave me in him exactly what I needed because I ended up suing that school.
Wow.
And I had Kendon. His name is Kendon.
Okay. And my son is Kyrie.
I love that. And they were flying me back and forth to California for depositions. And I was nursing him, so I had to take him with me because I'm like, I'm not ready to stop nursing him, so I'm going to take him. And this boy, this little baby, would literally see, how you lay your baby like in their little car seat, like when you just haven't taken them out of it yet. This little guy, Cameo, would literally sit in that car seat for hours at a time while those people were deposing me.
Wow.
Never and not cry, never say a peep. He'd wake up, he'd look around, he'd, I'd put a little stuff in his thing where he could just hold on to it and play with it. It's like he was listening, and then he'd get tired, he'd go back to sleep.
Wow.
He'd give me a little bit of agitation when he wanted me to nurse. And I was one of them nurses where, look, I'm going to nurse my baby.
Yeah.
I'm gonna nurse my baby.
Right.
They asking me a million questions, and my son's, nursing. I didn't care, but he was just, I tell him all the time, I was like, God gave me exactly what I needed in you. Because you were just a peaceful spirit to me. You were just this peace that I needed in the chaos of my life, And so he gives me a lot of hell today, though. He got older. He was like, that time is up now, mama.
That's so funny.
Time is up. But, okay, so I want to ask you this because I find you just, so inspirational, and I'm so thankful that you and I have met. I have to tell you that because you encourage me. You really do. You encourage me. And the things that you say and just the talking about your spirituality and how, God is with us even when we feel like that he's not. Because sometimes you can feel like God done forgot about you.
Yes,
You
you
done
can.
forgot about me. You done left me out here.
Or that he's closed. I feel like for a long time that nobody could see the greatness that he put inside of me. And that was a really hard time.
Yeah.
Because, I knew that there were so many things that I could do, but people weren't giving me the opportunity. Or if I did get the opportunity, it didn't last long.
Yeah.
But I just had to stay in the game,
Yeah.
And eventually he showed me how to make my own path.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that because I have more freedom and more control.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I want to ask this question of you to all of the women who are listening to this episode. What would you say to the women who are listening that are struggling, trying to accomplish big dreams, big goals on their own? They don't have a support system. Maybe they are raising a kid, maybe two kids by themselves that feel just like what you said, Cameo, like there's so much in me, but nobody sees that but me. Am I wrong? Like, am I crazy to be thinking this, or is this fool thinking? Speak to those women and encourage them, please.
Okay. Hey, girl, listen, you are going to have all of your dreams to come true. They all are going to come true, but you have to create a consistent plan. You have to get consistent in your actions. You have to get consistent in your behaviors and your habits. Once you do that, you have to create a plan, and you need to get really clear about what your priorities are. I'm a really big family person, so this is basketball season for me, and I've been to 4 away games this week so far, but I have set my intentions that is what I want to do, to see and be with my son. So because of that, there's certain things that I'm not working on right now in my life. So work on figuring out, what are your current priorities and what do I have the capacity to do? Do not overwhelm yourself. Don't put yourself in a place where you can self-condemn yourself or get guilty. Be really practical about what you're working on. If your son has a basketball practice, say, okay, during the basketball practice, I'm going to sit in the car and I'm going to work on my goals, or I'm going to listen to this book, or I'm going to read this book. While my daughter's at dance class, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. Make some time for yourself and make some time for your dreams, and eventually you will find the time to really go hard. But in the meantime, right now, I encourage you to not give up. Believe that what you have inside of you is special, and it will be used at the right time and the right moment. And focus in on your children, but do not forget about yourself and giving yourself time to work on your own goals. And of course, I encourage you to get a copy of my book, because I think that would be a really good foundational start for you. So that's what I would say.
I'm so grateful. Like, sometimes, I do episodes and it's just about the business of things, but then sometimes you sit and you have conversations with people and you're like, they're a light.
Thank you.
And I'm thankful and grateful for the things that you shared today. And some of it I needed to hear,
God.
so yeah. Well, is there anything that we talked about or didn't talk about that you want to share?
I do have a sisterhood for women, a sisterhood for girls called We Are Femme. And it's all about encouraging girls to know that they're fearfully and wonderfully made, beautiful and unique princesses. I'm working on getting that back started. I want to start having quarterly meeting with young girls, encouraging them, talking to them about bullying, peer pressure, self-love, self-hygiene, and all of those type of topics. I grew up as the only daughter. My mother was a wonderful mother, but I didn't want to talk to her about everything.
Right.
And so I asked my friends, and they gave me bad advice.
Right.
So I want to serve as a big sister for girls. So I really want to get back into that. And eventually I see myself creating an app where girls are able to come on, have conversation, and be monitored by sisterhood girls, and for parents to feel like, okay, this is a safe place to ask the question of, I like a boy at school. He sent me this kind of text message. What do I say back?
Yeah.
Or just advice, because I know they're dealing with that, and I know they don't know how to appropriately respond. And it's just a tough time, for children. And so many things are going on behind closed doors that you cannot see.
Yep.
You can't pick up the phone anymore and listen to, their conversation.
Yep.
They might can delete the text message and you don't see it. Delete the picture, you don't see it. So I want to kind of serve as a safe place for parents to trust and create that type of platform. So that's what I would like to do in the future.
I love that. And I can
Thank
tell you
you.
right now, if, you are looking when you get it going again for young girls to help you mentor these girls.
Uh-huh.
My daughter, and I'm not just saying this
Okay.
because I raised her, honestly, she is really just the things that go on in her life and the way she moves and her steadiness and solidness is from above. Because I was a wreck when I was her age. I tell her all the time,
Yeah.
I wish that I was as solid as you are.
Yeah, I know.
You
I
know,
know.
and she says sweet things to me like, well, Mom, that's because of you. Like, because you always speak into me and, and that means a lot, but I know. I
Yeah,
ain't put that much
I
in you.
know.
All that didn't come from me. That didn't come from me. I ain't gonna even accept it. But I have had a lot of people come up to me and ask me, would you mind if your daughter mentored my daughter? If you would
Wow.
talk to her? And that's not to say that my daughter hasn't made mistakes, but she's the type of young lady that she will keep it real with them and really give them real advice
Yeah,
for
I
stuff
love
that
that.
she's gone through and like
Okay.
how she handled it and
Yeah.
just decisions that she's made. And I find that she's really so good at that. And you remind me a lot of her.
Oh,
Like
thank
just
you.
your positive and motivational spirit and always like seeing the glass half full. You know what I'm saying? That mentality. And she really, so I know she would love to do it. But okay, so in closing,
Okay.
because I could talk to you all day, Cameo, and it's getting late. And this is a Thursday night in Franklin, Tennessee. We're right outside of Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes.
And so tell my listeners, because I know you've mentioned your website, the CameoBoBoShow.com
Yes, and CameoBoBo.com.
and CameoBoBo.com. Okay, so how can they find you on Instagram?
So on Instagram, I am a princess. So you have to find me at princess_cameo.
Okay.
Everywhere else is just Cameo Bobo. Facebook, TikTok, X, formerly known as Twitter. Is there anything else that we use? YouTube is just Cameo Bobo. You can also type in Cameo BoBo Show and it'll pop up.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
I would
This has
love
been empowering. I have loved this.
Me
This
too.
has been amazing.
For me as well. Listen, for me as well.
This has been great.
Yeah,
This has been great.
Yeah, thank you for sticking with us. Cameo, this is our second time scheduling a recording because the first time we had a snowstorm here in Tennessee.
We did.
And it was just not safe for either one of us to be on the road. So I'm glad you stuck in there with me.
Oh, of course.
I cannot wait to come to your show. I promise you. And I'm bringing people.
Yay.
I'm bringing
Whoop,
people,
whoop, whoop,
okay?
whoop, whoop, whoop.
I'm
Let's
bringing
do
people.
this.
Yeah.
I'm
So thank you
excited.
so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been amazing.
I am Sharrona Reaves. I am with Cameo BoBo. And we'll be right back with these 3 things. Thanks for listening to this episode of These 3 Things podcast. Here's how you can stay connected after the show. Follow at These 3 Things podcast on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. On Facebook at These 3 Things P. Be sure to follow, subscribe, and if you like what you've been hearing, leave a review. You are listening to These 3 Things podcast. I am Sharrona Reaves. I am with Cameo BoBo, the goal coach. I thought about leaving a 3 things at the end of this episode, but to be honest with you, I felt like Cameo shared so many gems. There really wasn't a lot left for me to say. I think her encouragement to women, her tenacity, her vibrant life, and all the things that she has going on, I thought were all the things. I didn't need to leave 3 of them. Thank you, Cameo, for coming on and blessing These 3 Things podcast. You truly are a light. And to all my listeners, I look forward to the next episode and the next conversation with one of my amazing guests on These 3 Things.